Hello, everybody. Why won't that thing go away and show me that we're live? This thing's here. There it goes. Now it's gone. Okay, that's the worst opening yet. Hi, everybody. We are the Late Night Enforcers. This is episode 13, where me and my buddy Ryan are going to talk some serious mad shit on Batman versus Superman. We both recently saw the movie. I saw it more recently than he did because I saw it yesterday, right after a dentist visit. That doesn't matter. I got my crown in. That doesn't matter either. Sorry. So I'm rambling. So here it is. This is Thursday night. I almost said February, April 7th. It's 9:30 in the evening, and we're having a couple of drinks, and we're going to bitch and moan about Batman. And that's right. I'm going to constantly refer to this movie as a Batman movie.
Well, I mean, it is the first name in the title is Batman versus Superman. Yeah, we're definitely going to do a little bit of bitching, a little bit of moaning, and there's going to be some good parts. I'm torn. It's for those watching. This is going to be a spoiler review, so we'll go into our general opinions here momentarily, and then we'll get into spoilers after that fact. So we'll at least give a partial spoiler-free for you, for those of you who might not have seen it yet, because I know there are some of the viewers out there who are kind of hemming and hawing. They're waiting. Do we want to see it on DVD? Do we want to go see it in the theater? Is it worth it? Whatever the case may be. But before we get into that, as we always like to do, discuss what we're drinking. I don't have anything new. What do you got?
Well, so I'm not drinking anything new either, so we'll make this real quick. I'm still working on the bottle of Tullamore Dew. I think I drank that one during which episode 11 when we talked about the Iron Druid.
Yeah, you've been on Tullamore Dew for a while, but we definitely touched more on that during the episode 11 Iron Druid, which also happens to be when I popped this bad boy up. For those of you who can't read it, it's the High West Whiskey Campfire. Smoky. If you want to kind of see my full review on this one, hit up episode 11. Plug. Yay. And another quick plug-ola that we always like to do during this segment is the mouth.com one. That's where I got this one. I get them every month for right now up until I think June will be my last one, and I'll see if I want to continue that at that point. But you can use, if you like indie food and monthly subscriptions and stuff like that, check them out, mouth.com. We have a discount code, 10% off, LN Enforcers 10. We'll put it down there in the description, so you can use that, get 10% off on your fun little order and enjoy. But otherwise, I still like this stuff, man. I'm going to be drinking it for a while. I'll take slow pulls every now and again.
Yeah, I can't wait till we get together again and I get a swig off that and the other one that has the pumpkin-y, spicy deliciousness.
Yeah, you're gonna definitely like that one.
Yeah, you're probably gonna lose that bottle.
I will fight you.
Oh, damn it! You know I can't fight you.
I will bring out the blade and you can bring your staff and we can go at it.
You have been properly trained by the United States military. I have been trained by some guy that looked like Jean-Claude Van Damme for like 2 months. No, it's not gonna happen. All you got to do is kick me in the chest, knock the wind out of me, and I'm done.
Yeah, well, maybe we do some stuff and we fix that. So,
yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, or maybe not. We'll see. Speaking of fights, the whole point of this thing is we're going to be talking about a fight. So, I don't know what you thought. I've been torn about the whole experience. I think overall, as a production, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the movie immensely for the fact that it was a fun theatrical performance. Comic book wise, we'll get into that in a little while. But I feel like Ben Affleck did really well as Batman. I definitely feel like he would, Batfleck. Yes.
Let's give him more of that, please.
Yeah, I think he should remain for at least the next few Batman movies, whatever they are. He's kind of solidified himself as the character for a while, just like Christian Bale did for a couple of movies. Christian Bale was a good Batman. Ben Affleck's a good Batman. So far, I believe, other than Michael Keaton, these are the
three pinnacle. Well,
those are your three pinnacle Batmans.
Other than the best Batman ever. Now, granted, he's never been in the suit,
right?
But fuck, his name eludes me right now. Kevin Conroy. Yeah, he is the iconic voice.
He's the voice. He is the voice of Batman, just as Mr. Mark
is
is
the Joker.
Joker.
Yeah,
You
I agree.
cannot get a better Joker voice than maybe as a theatrical performance. Heath Ledger, I feel, did really well.
Oh,
We'll
he
be
did.
good to
Yeah.
see what happens in Suicide Squad with Jared Leto. But I feel like Mr. Hamill is the man when it comes to Joker.
Now, Troy Baker's no slouch.
I agree. But
But
every time I read the Joker, it's Hamill in there.
Hamill, yep, it's absolutely Hamill. So I like you. I enjoyed the movie as well for it being a movie. I mean, it was fairly long, which
Yeah.
you got to make it long. Like I was saying, I left the dentist at like 2:45, hit the movie theater at 3, got in my seat by 3:10. Movie started at 3:15. I walked out of there at 6. So it's an epic kind of length film. I don't want to say it's an epic film because we'll get into that in a minute.
Well, I mean, it's the same length as Lord of the Rings.
Well, technically, yes.
Lengthwise.
Yeah. Or if you want to say Fellowship of the Ring, theatrical, then yes. Okay, I'll give that to you.
Yes.
But if you want to say Lord of the Rings, no, there's extended versions, and then are we looking at them as a whole, or are we looking at them as separate movies? See, I can argue this shit with you.
Single feature.
Yeah. All right. Fellowship, theatrical run.
Yes.
I really felt that the pacing was good. When I went to the theater, I didn't buy a soda. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and get this out there. Full disclosure, I did spend $14 to see the movie because I wanted to see it as early as possible right after getting out of the dentist visit. So I ended up watching it at Cinemark on their XD. So I paid double. Like it wasn't glasses. It was just a really, really huge ass fucking screen with all the speakers. Yeah, all the speakers are everywhere. Like at one point,
crystallized like feature thing that they do before it starts.
The what?
They do this. I don't. They should have done it when they do the XD crystallized animation.
Oh yeah. Where it's like
everywhere instead of doing THX, the audience is now deaf type sound stuff. They do that for their sound test.
Which it's horrible. I'm sorry. I'm an audiophile. So if you're going to do something like that, especially when you're showing off the surround sound, let's make it a little nuanced. Let's not just like really fucking loud.
Yeah, don't let it sound like you're crinkling up notebook paper in front of a microphone.
I would have said more like steel or crushing glass in a
car inside a car compactor.
Oh yeah. That's even better.
Yeah.
We're getting off topic already. So as I was saying,
it took all of 5 minutes.
It's a wonderful movie. I like Zack Snyder's work. I know a lot of critics and other people out there on the internet don't really care much for it. I enjoyed 300. I really enjoyed 300. Watchmen was okay. I like what he did with it, but it's not close enough to the source material for me to be happy with it. It's also one of those movies that could have easily been 2, to be able to actually fit in everything that was in it.
He did Man of Steel also, right?
Zack Snyder? Yes? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, because that's where they kept Cavill as Superman, is because Snyder was directing both.
Well, I think that had more to do with Warner Brothers saying, "Hey,
probably
DC, let's do this whole Avengers type thing, like what they're doing. We've already got Superman. We can easily put Batman into it. We don't really have to go over his origin story because we've got a trilogy of movies.
Batman movies, you know who fucking Batman is at this point.
We've got a trilogy of movies that just recently came out within the last decade. So that takes care of that. And then we've got all the Michael Keaton Batman movies that easily help with that.
There's a bunch of recent anime features that started off the whole Batman Superman fight. Not started, but brought to a visual medium other than a comic book. The fight that everybody always argues about. I mean, nerds everywhere always go, Batman, Superman, blah, let's fight about it. Yeah. And that's the constant debate. Who's better? The billionaire with no powers or the alien with all the powers? So, and with the Dark Knight Returns coming to the animated features, that actually, it came to pass in the animated feature, in both of them.
Wait, now, hold on. I'm sorry, man. I don't mean to derail you, because I actually recently went to Best Buy to pick up a copy of Star Wars Force Awakens, and I stupidly walked down the rest of the movie aisles and ended up leaving there spending $78 because there was an anime movie that came out that I wanted to get. So I ended up spending about $30 on that because, you know, anime, they got to price gouge the fuck out of you, especially at Best Buy.
Right.
And I picked up Assault on Arkham, which is supposed to be kind of sort of based off of the Arkham Asylum stuff. It's the Suicide Squad. And then I picked up The Dark Knight Returns, which is supposed to be the story from the graphic novel. I'm thumbing over my shoulder because I've actually got it sitting on my nightstand.
I've seen it. It's pretty good. Have you not seen it yet?
I didn't finish the graphic novel. I got to the point where he put the mutant boss in prison, and that's about where I stopped.
So yeah, in the animated feature, it's a truncated version, of course. So it condenses it, and
which is fine because it's fucking long-winded.
Yeah, but it was on Xbox Live because they did that whole kind of series of, you know, Batman animated features were releasing fairly regularly for about 6 months or so.
Yeah.
With, you know, the Son of Batman, and now Bad Blood is out, which was really good.
Yeah.
The Dark Knight Returns, and that kind of adaptation is what started that off. And it's pretty good. You know, it's Old Man Bruce. So
speaking of Old Man Bruce, so I kind of bring this up now. Hang on, let me backpedal. I thought the movie was well. God damn it, what's the word? I've been saying it all day. Its flow was really good. Yes. Pacing. It's pacing.
Yes.
Yeah. There was one occurrence during one of the first like really actiony scenes. It's the main scene with the Batmobile.
Okay. The first introduction of the Batmobile.
Yep. Yeah. When they're actually like driving it around, I almost fell asleep. But I don't think that really had anything to do with the movie per se. Because
the wearing off of the drugs in the pain in the afternoon.
Yeah, I still couldn't feel this side of my face at all. So it was probably a bad idea for me to do that. But it was easy. I was like, okay, I acknowledge the fact that I'm starting to fall asleep. So let's change how I'm sitting around a little bit. So I changed how I was sitting, and I stayed awake through it. I did speak with someone today who said his sister actually slept through the movie. I didn't.
Yeah, but is that due to she thought it was boring, or she was just tired? Because there have been movies where I have found them to be interesting and I have just passed out. Now, whether that's not at the theater, I don't fall asleep at movie theaters. If I'm going to pay the money to sit in a movie theater, I'm going to sit there and watch the fucking movie.
So I fell asleep in a movie theater once, but I worked there, so it didn't cost me any money for the tickets. My brother, I was working there. My brother was in college at the time. I think it was his senior year or something. And he came back into town, and I was like, let's go see Sleepy Hollow. Tim Burton's in it. I get off at this time, show up, I'll get you in, and then I'll go watch it with you. Well, I'd seen it like 5 times. So I get done off my shift.
That I can understand.
Yeah, I get off my shift and I go walking in, and I was like, how you digging it? He's like, yeah, it's really cool. And I sit down, and I shit you not, it was just like...
Yeah, my wife's the same way. And that's honestly why we don't go to movies, is because she will fall asleep every time. Every time. Yeah. So I used to go to movies when I was in high school. I used to go with my boys every Friday night. Like, I probably owe my buddy Matt, I probably owe his mom at least a couple grand in movie tickets for 2 years worth of movies. So, you know, it is what it is, but I think it's probably time to the point where we get into the spoiler and the fun discussion.
Yeah. So as I was kind of mentioning earlier, where we were talking about Frank Miller's Batman, there's something that you guys need to know going into this movie if you haven't seen it, or if you didn't know the connection. There are 2 different types of Batmans that Ben Affleck is going to play. He plays the Frank Miller Batman, which is kind of an older, gruffer, he's seen some shit kind of Batman. Like we've seen in the trailer where he walks past Robin's outfit and it says, ha ha ha, the joke's on you. So, I mean, that's laying the groundwork for Red Hood to be in these movies at some point.
Oh, sidebar, just real quick. I hope that they do something with the Killing Joke that's not just the animated feature that they're working on right now. Because they've got teasers out for it. If they put the Red Hood in a Netflix series, Hallelujah.
Well, keep in mind that if they do a TV series with the Red Hood, it's going to go to an actual TV channel. It's not going to go directly to Netflix to start with.
I think it could compete with Daredevil. Like,
It,
with as dark of a storyline as that is, and as dark as this version of Daredevil is.
it could. I agree
Whoa.
with you. But you got to understand licensing. DC is not going to license out something directly to them when they have a deal with Marvel.
I mean, you got a lot of competition there. I mean, you could, if they were smart, they would do it. They could get, if they got Hulu to do a series.
See, now there's where you're talking. Get Hulu to do an original series.
I would get a subscription to Hulu with no fucking commercials just for that. Just, are you listening, Hulu? Are you listening? Fucking do it.
Pay attention. Put
All right.
put that struck in there. So as I was saying, we're dealing more with the Frank Miller Batman, no Robin, because Robin's dead. Is what's implied to those that know the canonical Batman stuff. Now, the other thing that you need to know about Frank Miller's Batman is he uses guns. He may not use them with bullets per se, but he does use guns. There was a scene where he fired a sniper rifle to put a tracking device on a truck. There was a grenade launcher that was used many times during the fight with Superman and the big fight at the end with we're in the spoilers. So
if you missed it,
here we go.
Spoilers.
Here we go. Even though the trailer's already spoiled this. Doomsday's in the movie.
Right.
And he shoots these little grenades at Doomsday and Clark that basically are powdered kryptonite, which changed how I thought that it was supposed to be done. Now, granted, I never read Batman Strikes Back, which is the other Frank Miller one where he actually fights Superman, which is kind of what led to this one, which is why I think they went with the Frank Miller Batman. I never read that one, but I always thought it was his suit was kind of lined with kryptonite or something along those lines. I may be wrong. Let me know in the comments down below. Definitely tell me if I'm a stupid fucking idiot.
Please correct us. I haven't read that one either, so I'm actually going to look into it because I was...
Yeah, it's on my list. The other Batman that is portrayed within this Batman is Tim Burton's Batman. Tim Burton's Batman gives two shits or a fuck about killing people. Two shits at all. Like, I was in the
got super dark in this movie.
Yeah, I was in the theater with maybe 3 people tops, counting myself, right? And I'm the kind of guy that, like, when you go into a movie theater and they got that one section that has the bar on it, I like to be... I sit there so that I can put my feet up. And this is why I go to the movies on Wednesday afternoons. There's one guy about 5 seats down from me. There was the scene where he's driving around in the Batmobile and he jumps up and crashes into the back of the truck. The truck, yeah. And I just go, and the guy sitting down the way goes, I know, right? Because it's like, that fucker's dead. And then he blows up like a bunch of pickup trucks, and you're like, okay, yeah. dead.
People died. Batman killed people. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way. Batman doesn't kill people. No. In this movie, it is impossible to have survived those explosions and those interactions without some sort of death or severe mortal injury.
Yeah. One case in point, I'm not going to get into specifics. There's a grenade, and he just kind of walks away from it when, if it was the Batman, he would have used like a batarang or some shit to like hook it back and throw it back out the window or some stupid bullshit like that. Instead, he was just like, that looks like your problem, and walks away. So
now, and we'll circle back to this topic in a little bit when we get to the fight that I was waiting for, the scene that I was waiting for that's in the fucking trailers that does not show up when I thought it would. Because the way it's cut together in the trailers is when Alfred drops him off on the floor and he goes up through the floor and he whoops everybody's ass. The way that the trailers cut it together, it looks like this is, okay, Batman's doing his thing and then we get into the fight. No, the way the movie's fucking done is let's see how quickly we can get Batman and Superman to fight. And fucking Lex Luthor manipulating them the entire fucking time to do it, I thought was interesting storytelling. And I think there was like this much backstory on Batman's character in this movie, in the situation that it was. It started off more as a Superman movie, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, it started with Bruce landing in Metropolis, trying to get to Wayne Tower to make sure everybody got out.
Right, because it was cutting back to Man of Steel. I mean,
Right.
it was setting the stage, right? You're
Right.
setting the stage with Bruce's anger. You're going to get that there, and then you're going to cut to what, at least 20 to 30 minutes of Superman, where he goes to save Lois. You've got backstory there where you're running the Congresswoman chick who's now going after him.
That shit was a little fucking boring. I mean, it was again, it was paced in such a way where it's like it's a necessity because it helps kind of bring out Lex Luthor's character.
Right. It introduces the rest of the world. I thought it was the tie-in for the rest of the movie, and then it moves into, okay, now let's do this.
Yeah.
Here I am. Which, no lie, like, that was fucking Batman just whipping his dick out in front of Superman and just staring at him. He drops, "Here I am. Bring your shit, motherfucker." And I was like, yo.
And I'm sitting there going, he gonna whoop the shit out of you. It's done.
He'll hit you hard.
He gonna kick your ass.
Until I was waiting for the kryptonite pieces, because we already knew he had the spear. He'd stabbed the spear in the final point. Because this Batman, he had it planned out. He knew how he wanted to go through the building and how he wanted to direct him. But I was waiting to see how he was going to introduce the first part of kryptonite. Is it going to be like in the Dark Knight Returns stuff where it's an Arrow, because there was no Green Arrow introduction. There was no fucking Oliver Queen. So I knew that wasn't going to happen. I was interested to see how he was going to do it. Okay, it's a grenade. That'll work.
Yeah, it creates a cloud of it that allows him to like inhale it. You know,
stays in the system a little bit longer. You can have a legitimate fight. And everybody saw it in the preview when he swings and goes, "Ha-bah!"
Yeah, and it stops him and he's like, oh
fuck. Oh, shit.
So now here's something that I think was missed. Now, granted, we know this is an established Batman kind of universe. Like, this is past his origin story, because he even made reference to clowns dressed, or Jokers dressed up like clowns, or some shit like that in the show. But when he shot him with the first grenade, and he's sitting there like breathing it in, and they did a really good job with the particle effects, making it look like he breathed it in and exhaled it. He said something along the lines of, "Do you feel that? That's fear." And I was like, "Oh shit! Did he like mix in fear toxin?"
That's what I thought too. I was like, "Please tell me you put some fucking fear toxin in that shit."
Oh, that would have. But then again, I don't know, because if he had done that, it would have been one of these things where as soon as it wore off, like it did, he'd have laser shot him, like hard, like a lot.
Yeah.
There was one scene too where I'm kind of getting a little ahead of ourselves, but near the end of the fight, Superman somehow like breaks a chunk off of the Batman,
off of the mask, where it's all like half and he looks like he's Two-Face.
Yeah. And then he's dragging Superman over to the spear, and there's just that little piece that when you're looking at him, because this eye's still lit up, but this one's not, there's this little piece and it's getting this weird reflection that makes it look like his eye is white.
Yeah.
Like, the next time you watch it, I'm going to buy it when it comes out on Blu-ray.
Oh, yeah,
let me go ahead and just throw that out there.
It's a purchase. It's a definite purchase.
And I'm going to buy it first day because you get it cheaper at Best Buy. Best Buy. Hook me up. But
I saved. I got the Blu-ray DVD combo at Walmart for like under $20, and I walked in to get it the other day. It had a listed for $25, and at the register I got $4 off.
For what, Star Wars or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, when I went and bought Star Wars, it was the same thing. It was like, fuck, I didn't order it the day of. I'm gonna end up paying $23. All right, whatever. I get in there, it's like, oh, it's still on sale. Fantastic. But so. Damn, my brain just shut down on me. So
as far as the fight's concerned, when it gets to that section and he's moved through the building and, you know, they've thrown each other through a couple of walls, and the fight itself, I felt was a little bit lackluster. I felt that it was well choreographed and it was well paced and it moved well, but I do feel like it was a little rushed because they were itching to get to Doomsday and Wonder Woman.
No,
And
I'm
that's
sorry.
just my personal thing, because the whole thing is supposed to be, I understand it's the Justice League kickoff movie. It's introducing a lot of the other characters. A lot of that is there. That groundwork is now laid. But I don't feel like they spent enough time on the physical fight.
Hold on. You say that groundwork is laid? Motherfucker, they smashed a damn brick into your face to let you know, hey, these are the next like 4 or 5 movies we're planning on making. Hope you're interested, because we've already got people filming on some of these. Like the set shot from Wonder Woman where they're like, oh, where'd this picture come from? It's not like we're already working on the Wonder Man movie. Now,
Right?
I do want to take a really long backpedal to the beginning-ish area of the movie. I don't want to give this away, but there is a really, really cool thing. I know we said we're doing spoilers, but I'm not going to say it. But there's this really one little thing that kind of sets up a possible future Justice League movie. Doesn't even have to be the one that's like the first Justice League movie. We'll talk about it offline since it looks like you're not remembering. But there's this one little thing that's like, I'm sitting there looking at it going, the fuck is this? And it's one out of 3 actual surprises that I got watching this movie that the PR company did not drop on everybody.
Yeah.
Like when they were doing this movie, they were like, yeah, no, it's Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice. It's the build up to do this. So we're going to put Wonder Woman in the movie. By the way, we're going to put Aquaman in the movie too. I was like, oh.
I thought the Aquaman scene was a little bit weird.
That was stupid. If you're going to do that,
I'm going to stare at you like this for a
like
little
he's
while,
fucking confused.
and then hopla!
And he didn't even look like. So he like rears back and does it, and he's doing it as if it's a human body underwater. A human.
Yeah, no, the
body
dude's king
underwater.
of Atlantis. He's supposed to be able to move.
He's an Atlantean.
Superman.
It should be like this kind of shit.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he just fadooshes away.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that was sound design, by the way, on Superman's flight is fucking phenomenal. That cape is a bunch of fucking bullshit. There are numerous times when he's floating down or dropping down and his cape doesn't like fucking up over his damn head. Physics, y'all. I realize this is a movie, but
Science.
Let's at least do some physics.
Speaking of funny Superman things, I did think that when he dropped down to get Lois and he stood there and just stared, and she's holding the dude and then just goes,
yeah.
I like, oh, this is gonna be good. I kind of feel like he should have moved like CGI wise a bit faster. If he's supposed to be able to race the Flash and not necessarily beat him, but if he's supposed to be able to move upwards of that fast, he definitely moved way too slow for me for how close that gun was to her head.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, as fast as you can pull the trigger, I know that he can move faster than that, so it should have been almost instantaneous. And I feel like we as an audience could see it too much. It should have been more of a blur, or you do the Smallville effect where fucking time stops.
Yeah.
And he just is moving, like he's moving so much faster where everything else is frozen. You could have gone either direction in that, and I feel like you should have picked one, not something in between.
Yeah, well, I'll agree with you there. It's one of these instances where all you had to do was see her kind of just lower her hands, and then you could have just seen the hole behind her
Right.
form.
Or time could have stopped at that point, and you could have seen him go
Like
boop, ba-doo,
leap
ba-doo,
into the
ba-doo,
shit.
boop.
And start, yeah.
Yeah. So, but what else did I want to say? That I do think Gal Gadot, because I think it's Gadot and not Gadot.
Wait, huh?
Wonder Woman.
Oh, man.
I feel like you could definitely see like her body change from Fast and the Furious to this movie.
Yeah.
You can tell she's been working out, get a little fit. No lie.
Well, okay, yeah, there's that, and then there's also the fakeums. She didn't have no big bosoms in the Fast and the Furious movie. I'm sorry, I'm a man. That's one of the things I look at. She didn't have big jubblies. And they kind of made her look like she had bigger jubblies in this one to fill out that scene.
Well, and then therein lies the thing. Are they normally bigger, really? And did they taper them down for Fast and Furious because they wanted a specific look? Or is it reverse? We don't know. Hey, if you know and you follow her, let us know in the comments. Throw that up.
Send us a picture of her.
No, we're not lonely nerds.
Yeah.
Well, you are.
Fuck you.
No, but when it comes to her character in the movie, I felt like it was introduced. She was introduced well. Her showing up to the fight was kind of like, oh, by the way, Wonder Woman's here.
Yeah.
And
and one of the things that really pissed me off is that during all the times that she was showing up, they never said her name. So when she was walking off the plane and somebody said Miss Priss, that could be taken in today's day and age. That could be taken as an insult, like "What you doing, Miss Prissy Pants?" or something like that.
Right.
So maybe say her name a couple more times, and maybe the next time you have a big reveal like that, don't put it in your PR scheme. Don't make movie posters about her being in it. Don't show it off. Don't show the big bad guy that's supposed to be turned in this. When you have the name, I'm sorry, here I go. When you have the name Batman versus Superman, you make the ad campaign about Batman versus fucking Superman.
Well,
Hold on, give me a minute. You don't make the goddamn ad campaign about the fucking Batman versus the Superman and here's this chick that's gonna come in the middle of it, and what's this gray guy that looks like a fucking monster? Everybody knows who the gray guy that looks like a monster is. If it wasn't Tombstone, Grundy. If it wasn't Grundy, it was Doomsday. There's only two gray dumbass motherfuckers that are that big in the DC universe.
Well, this was my issue since now that we're jumping into this fun part, right?
I'm drunk enough. Let's do this.
We are on the fucking train. Here we go. So they put too much in the movie. Way too fucking much in the movie. They said, we've got 3 hours. How much can we cram into this fucking bottle to see what we can get, right? So you've got the allusions to Darkseid with the fucking harpies. You've got Doomsday is in this fucking movie. What, do you not remember?
I don't remember that.
The fucking the dream, Bruce's fucking dream that he has, right? When he falls asleep at the back computer, and everybody originally it was supposed to be Wonder Woman's vision of the fucking future.
Hold on, stop, because I think that's the one that I didn't want to spoil.
Well, I'm fucking doing it because it's a fucking thing that pissed me off. Well, sorry, buddy. So
it's okay. Do it if you're gonna do it, man.
So first of all, before the movie came out, everybody kept saying this is Wonder Woman's prophetic dream, and they were like, Superman is under the control of Darkseid in the Vision, and that may be true, but you can't really fucking tell. There's nothing alluding to it or not. Honestly, it's almost like they're trying to throw the Injustice Gods Among Us comic book storyline in it.
Yeah.
Because they have the fucking super troops standing there and Batman's fighting.
That's the scene you were talking about. Okay.
So they mix that with fucking Darkseid.
Okay.
Because they've got the harpies flying around when he's fighting everybody.
Yeah.
That's when he's killing everybody, like legitimately fucking swag.
Yeah, that's when he's using a gun.
Yeah. And I mean, granted, that fight scene was pretty badass because he mows down a bunch of fucking people and he whoops some ass.
Oh, yeah.
But you put that in there, and then now you have Wonder Woman coming in to help them fight Doomsday, which I feel like wasn't necessary for the movie. If it's Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice, why do you have Doomsday coming in here for the death of fucking Superman? There's no reason to write that in there for the plot line to start off the Justice League.
Yes, there is. So I'm going to take the odd side of the table and I'm going to argue against you on the positive side for a change.
Because we have to do this.
So here's the thing. At the end of it, it's one of those things where Bruce realizes that the biggest and strongest ally that he had is now dead. And
because of their safe word, Martha.
Hold on this before I get into that rage fest.
Trying to derail you here.
Yeah, so that's why he goes and starts, and talks with Wonder Woman about doing the league where we're all standing together, and she's like, well, we've done that and it didn't work out, and he's like, well, this time it's gonna have to. And I think it's more because he's like, this fucker's dead, we can't count on him to show up and save our asses, so we're all gonna have to fucking do it ourselves.
Right?
Martha.
Martha.
What the fuck kind of retarded, stupid ass bullshit is this? I thought it was dumb. I have tempted to Wikipedia that shit in the fucking theater when it happened. I was like, is her name really Martha? Like, is both of their names really Martha?
Martha Kent. Yeah, no, it's Martha Kent and Martha Wayne.
Just
nobody ever fucking mentions it anywhere in the oh, mom's names are the same. So, like, really, fucking Bruce is supposed to be what? Like fucking late 40s, early 50s in this movie?
Yeah.
And you're going to wig out because he says, save Martha? First of all, if Superman's about to die, he's going to say, save my mom, not save Martha.
Yeah. Because
you're from Kansas, homie. You're going to say, save my mom, not save Martha.
Now, see, if it was on the other side, it was Batman. Now, Batman's fucking smart enough to be able to say, if I say a particular name, it'll trigger a response. Superman is all about punch, hit, it broke, it's dead, or it's in jail, or whatever the fuck you want to.
He's not smart enough to know. First of all, the fact that he drops down and says, Bruce, really, bro? Really? You're just going to drop the fucking bomb that you know who he is the second you drop down? Let's do this. Let's go ahead and set that up. But that doesn't mean you know his backstory.
That's the other thing. Is if you know enough to be able to use that as a safety word, as you said, why don't you just pop down and be like, hey,
figured it out.
There's this psychopathic fucker across the bay here that's got my mom, BT Dub, her name's Martha, and she's in trouble. So, you all right?
Yeah, there's got to be like a bug or something slapping against the outside of the garage.
Oh, I think June bugs are starting to come out.
It makes sense because they can probably see the light. So
I fucking hate those things. I was taking a shower earlier and I could hear them hitting the window.
I gotta, like, I've seen a whole bunch of fucking memes over the last week and a half of Martha and all this shit, and they're funny. Like, I sit there and look at my phone, just bust out laughing, and I try not to share too many of them because I know some of my friends haven't seen the movie yet. Now that you have, I don't care.
Yeah.
I know Jerry hasn't seen it yet, so, but I mean, at this point, if you're still, I think that's probably part of the reason why he went dark and other things. I don't know. I know he's off Facebook right now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I saw it today, but I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not. Probably not. I just know he hasn't seen the movie yet.
Well, I mean, it's Superman and Spider-Man are actually two of his, as far as I can recall, are two of his favorite superheroes of all time. So I can understand him going dark.
Which is why he got super fucking serious about Underoos.
Yeah. Which.
Yeah. But as far as this movie is concerned, right? So we've touched on the fight. We've touched on the Martha bullshit. We've touched on the fact that Batman is super dark at the beginning, burning shit into people, which I thought was awesome.
That was fucking cool.
And like the way he moved through dodging shotgun blast, that was fucking badass. Like, he's really agile.
But you gotta admit with me that where he's sitting up in the corner looked fucking awkward and stupid as shit.
Well, yeah, that looked dumb. But then it didn't let. I mean, as soon as he got seen, camera pans, sees him. Really? You're going to hang out in the corner? Oh, fuck. And then the action begins. Now, speaking of action, and let's go ahead and get into this because my favorite fight scene in the movie is, of course, when it's post-fight with Superman. He's out of the fucking giant fucking suit.
Oh, yeah.
He's in the normal shit. Alfred drops him off and he says, all right, Alfred, you got to take it. I'll drop you off on the second floor.
Because all the bad guys are on the third floor.
Yep. Drops through, and I was like, okay. Comes up through the fucking floor. Here we go.
That's some Arkham Asylum ass kicking
Yes!
motherfucker,
The
dude.
fucking combat mechanics that they put him through for that scene were fucking flawless.
Oh, made me want to play Arkham again.
Right? Like, I'm probably going to fire it up. And it's fucking, like, I'm telling you, man, he's running through, fucking throwing shit at people, fucking taking knives to the fucking gauntlet. And then when he dives over the box, grabs the dude's fucking head and slams it down.
Yeah. Oh, he does that like little thing where the dude's head is the thing that hits the ground, and you're like, that neck is broken.
Yes, he probably died. And now this is what gets me to the point where we're talking about killing people, right? He goes through all that, goes through a wall, chases old boy down who's got Martha because he promises Martha won't die tonight. He's standing there with a fucking M60 fucking machine gun, just hanging out with it. And you could tell that he thought about it. The look on his face. Ben Affleck did such a good job in character in this moment where he said, the dude says, I'll fucking torture. I'll fucking do it. I believe you. And I was like, is this going to be it? Is this going to be the moment where they destroy Batman forever? And they didn't. They won by letting him shoot the tank, which was straight up fucking Tom Clancy's Division.
Yeah,
straight up. And I was like, first of all, you got one round off with an M60, which is a fully automatic machine gun.
Yeah. By the time that trigger reaches the back, you've gotten 2 or 3 at least off.
Yeah, it's very difficult to get one round off. I can do it with a 240. I used to be able to. It'd take me a little bit now to get it. It's very difficult to do because of how the sears work together. I used to work on those guns in the Marine Corps. And that was that moment where you saw it in his face where he was like, I want to put a bullet in this dude. I want to do it. It showed the human side of Batman that makes him go, every fucking time is a decision of whether or not he's going to kill somebody.
Yeah.
Every time. And then they exploded and he was able, I'm flame proof.
Well, and I think that was part of it is he knew that if he hit the can, the guy would panic and he would have enough time to drop the other dude and get to Martha because
makes complete sense.
They gleamed over it. You know, he had a flame proof like cape on, and that's how they made it out of that situation.
He always does. I mean, which other Batman movie was that? The Val Kilmer one.
Was it Val Kilmer?
Yeah, where he covers up and
and then he gets the weird like sheen because it's CGI.
Yeah.
Now I want to take a step back to that same fight before we lead into the guy with the torch. One of my favorite things about that is you actually got to watch Batman use gadgets while he was fighting. Like the best one is when he does the flip over the box and he puts the little booster jets on one side of it, drops on the other side, hits it with his little grapple thing, hits the boosters, and then throws it with the rope. It's fucking awesome. I want a Batman movie like this. I just want just a flat out fucking Batman movie like this. I tell you what. Put him against a non-well-known character. Like, I don't know. Like they just introduced Mr. Bloom and had one of the best series ever in the comic book. Do a Mr. Bloom movie. Or Clayface hasn't been in any of the movies. Put him in there.
Or let's do this.
Don't do it.
You know you want to put them up against each other.
Don't do it.
You know your boy.
Don't do it.
You know you want to do it.
No, because I don't want to see him get his ass kicked by Batman.
So this is the thing. You can either do a Batman versus Deathstroke movie, or I personally think the Arkham series has enough publicity and Arkham Knight had enough great publicity, enough great playtime, and good reviews on consoles. On consoles. I'm going to say that now because fucking PC Master Racers are going to flip the fuck out that their shit is still broken.
Hell, Origins is still technically broken.
Technically. But I think that you could really do the Arkham Knight type storyline, if you want to do it right and you want to see Ben Affleck as Batman fucking run that type of fight scene up against somebody, you do it against Red Hood. And you figure out who's going to play Red Hood now.
Do not put Channing Tatum in that role.
No.
Boycott that motherfucker.
No.
It's got to be someone that's kind of sort of ugly. You know what? As much as I like the guy, as much as I think he's handsome as fuck, Charlie Hunnam, main character from Sons of Anarchy.
You think he's acrobatic enough?
CGI. I mean,
well, okay, I get that, but he's also not young enough.
Ooh, very true.
You got to remember, Jason Todd is still young enough at this point in the universe to where, and we're getting off topic, but it's acceptable because the Killing Joke was referenced in the movie. So yeah. I think if you're going to do it, you do the Killing Joke as a lead-in because he's still got to fight people, and you do Under the Red Hood as a real-life feature.
Well, now, here's something that they could do because, again, they're still trying to catch up with Marvel, and this is their phase 1. So in phase 2, you could have a Batman movie that basically the first half of it is the Killing Joke, and the second half is Under the Red Hood. Granted, you are going to truncate the fuck out of both of those, but...
You run a big risk there. If you're going to truncate, though, there's a cry for those stories right now, specifically the Killing Joke, to be done right. So if they truncate too much of the Killing Joke, it's going to die.
I'll give you that.
Big risk.
But see, okay, so if they do it, though, they need to make sure that it's openly stated that this movie comes before the events of Batman versus Superman. And they're going to have to dye fucking Ben Affleck's hair because he had the little gray sparkles coming through. Again, this was...
He's old.
Well, I mean, and this was Frank Miller's Batman. You could tell based on the emblem that they used. That's Frank Miller's emblem.
And you could still do the Frank Miller type Batman in this storyline because it's such a dark fucking storyline, right?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And I still think you have Snyder do it, first of all.
Well, you know, I agree with you to a certain extent, but you can't have Snyder do all of these movies.
I agree. You can't have him do all of them, but I think for the Killing Joke and Under the Red Hood kind of, if you do that kind of mashup type deal, I think you have Snyder do it, and he's already on contract for Justice League. After that, you start looking at someone else.
Yeah, I was going to say you're going to have to start leaning away from him at some point because just like Joss Whedon went through, he's going to get burned out with Warner Brothers telling him what has to be done or DC telling him what has to be done for these movies. And it's going to be one of these things where it's like, I don't want to do them anymore. Also, as much as I would like to see a Zack Snyder fucking Batman movie, I kind of want to see somebody else's take on this particular Batman. Like, I would really, really want to see a Christopher Nolan twist on this one because I really like what he did with the Joker. So if you kind of just
but he's already done 3.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not going to argue with you. You're right.
But I think I think he's done his take. It's Snyder's turn. And then, so I think you give Snyder Justice League, you give him Under the Red Hood and the Killing Joke, and then I think you let somebody else take on.
Here's what I think you do. You let him do the Killing Joke, okay? Or not the Killing Joke, the Red Hood, because that's an action movie, and Snyder's very action-oriented. For the Killing Joke, let's get more of a thriller director to kind of come in, because it's more...
I can support that.
Yeah. That would be
it's a dark story, and it's very suspense-oriented.
See, and I'm excited about getting it on the animated thing because I've almost bought it numerous times in the comic book, the graphic novel thing, and I've been like, no, I'll hold off. And then I heard that they're going to do that, and I was like, well,
now I have to.
I'm just going to buy the movie because it's quick.
Right? So, but I could support those. I mean, I don't know who would direct it. I think as long as you don't ever have Michael Bay do a Batman film, you'll be all right.
So, on that aspect, I can't even say that if Michael Bay does a Batman movie, I would boycott it. I like Batman.
I can't say I would boycott it. I just don't think it would be as successful as I mean, all I'm going to think is Transformers.
You could have Michael Bay do a cyborg movie.
I can say that. So, speaking of weird shit, did you figure out who it was that came through in the dream in that?
That's the one. That's one. Stop. That's the one. That's the one I'm
Okay.
trying. That's the one I don't. Yes, I can tell you who did that.
We'll talk about it later then, because you have to tell me. I kept trying to figure it out, and yeah. So,
Yeah.
I think they need to do a Court of Owls movie.
You know what? I think they will, but I think that would play into.
It's a Nightwing takeoff.
Is it a night? Well, because I know
It's not a Nightwing storyline. It's a Batman storyline, but Nightwing is heavily involved in it because it's Grayson's bloodline.
Okay. Well, if you watch, what was the one? Batman versus Robin, the animated movie. This is after Batman's son is now Robin. That one has to do with the Court of Owls.
Yep.
That's a
No,
really
I mean,
good
like,
one.
real life movie. They like.
Well, yeah. No, I agree with you. But getting to that point, that's 2 or 3 fucking Batman movies from now, is what I think.
It's possible, but there's enough source material to be able to do it. But we digress. So to speak into stuff that has been leaked from Warner Brothers that as deleted scenes is the interesting godlike creature that Lex Luthor is dealing with inside the ship that kind of looks like Satan.
Oh.
But I can't remember the name of the creature or the god that the old bell has been wrong, or the bell has been wrong, the old gods know, or whatever.
So I've heard rumor that that's Darkseid.
But that's not Darkseid though. Darkseid
well,
doesn't
that's
have
not-
fucking giant horns.
That's not Darkseid's look from the comic books. Remember, Aquaman is blonde in the comic books.
True, but are you really going to take that kind of creative license? Is DC going to let that kind of creative license go for Darkseid?
You know what? I was about to make the argument about the Fantastic Four movie, the somewhat better ones that came out with Galactus in the sequel, where he was just a fucking cloud.
Yeah, I always figured that he just resided in the cloud and he used the cloud to suck the planets dry.
We say this, and all of a sudden I'm thinking of Xbox, where they're talking about the cloud and its processing power for your video games. Galactus just resides in the cloud. Whenever he appears in the public event, it's all run by the cloud.
Nobody understands the cloud.
So we've kind of gotten off on a little bit of a tangent. We started talking about what other movies we'd like to see made and who directs them and things along those lines. Really, all in all, Ryan, I'm going to put you on the spot. We didn't talk about doing this. 1 to 10.
1 to 10?
1 to 10.
1 to 10, 10 being the best, 10 being the high end.
Yeah.
Overall, to include everything, to include canon, to include production, theater experience, storyline accuracy, I'm going to give it. Oh, this is hard.
Yep. Come on.
I've got to give it an 8.
Ooh.
And that's really high. I was really raising between a 7 and an 8 there, but I've got to give it an 8 purely because of the fact that I didn't hate my life when I walked out of it. Storyline wise, I do feel like they crammed too much into it. I don't think they needed to go as far as they did with the storyline and everything that they put, but production wise, that really overshadowed. I think in today's day and age, you can't expect perfection to translate from a comic book into a movie. You've got to understand by this point, with as many comic book movies that are out there, there's going to be creative license. There's going to be change. They're not going to do it perfectly. And if you expect that, you're going to have a bad time. So under that premise, I think it solidly hits an 8. I don't think it's up to a 10, but I think it's got potential for the rest of the series on how they're going to go. I'd be interested to see who they do with Green Arrow.
Ooh. Now that opens all sorts of conversations. We'll take those offline because that has to do with some other stuff that I want to talk about. So I'm going to make this easy for you, kind of, sort of. If we ever get a Metacritic score, I'm going to go with a 7. So as far as Metacritic is concerned, that's a 7.5 or 75. I'm going that way because I too agree with the fact that it is there is too much crammed into it. They're trying to get through so much, but there is so much that's in there that is not explained. Why the fuck is Wayne Manor a fucking pile of wreckage? They never explained that. They never alluded to it. Why the fuck does Bruce have gray hair? They could have like stated, like had Alfred just do a passing statement. You've been doing this for 20 years, or you've been
That
doing
was
this
in
for.
there though.
Was it?
20 years in Gotham.
That could mean he's 20 years old.
He's been doing it since he was a fucking baby.
Okay, well then he's 30.
Okay, so I grant you he's okay, so he's been doing it since he's fucking 10 years old. No.
Okay.
20 years in Gotham of fighting people. You have to assume that he started around the time he was mid-20s.
I am almost 40. I am almost 40.
You're old. You have wooden teeth. You George
I
Washington.
have one spot of gray. That's all. He's not in this glorious locks that the ladies love.
Regardless, you can assume he's at minimum late 30s, mid 40s.
But there wasn't enough time spent saying, you've done your duty. Let this guy who's fresh on the scene take care of it.
I disagree, but we're not going to get into that because that's going to be another 30 minutes.
Yeah, and we got to wrap this up because we've wasted all of your times. But that's something, and there's too much where they're just like, again, they're hitting you in the face with, here is our movie that we're going to be putting out. Like,
Justice League!
Here's this movie. Here's this movie. Here's this movie. Here's this movie. It's like, fuck you. Do not do the Age of Ultron shit where that movie sets up all the other movies that follows it. Do this movie, set up one movie, have that movie set up the next movie, or have do what?
They fucked up the Flash.
Don't get me started on that. That's part of the thing I wanted to talk about. Like, if that's the Flash, who's going to play the Green Arrow? Because it's not going to be the guy that's on the TV show. All right, so here it is. The Late Night Enforcer's final rating is a 7.5. Sounds kind of shitty. We do suggest that you see it, but you see it in the way that you prefer to see it. Do you want to see it?
I don't recommend 3D personally. On a personal note, I don't recommend you spend the money for it's 3D isn't necessary. I don't think you get any more out of the experience.
No.
I think on an XD, if you go to Cinemark, XD Digital would be good. That's how I saw it. That's how Ian saw it.
It was really good.
If you go to AMC, you're going to have a good experience anyway. 2D is max. You definitely don't need to spend the extra money on the fucking 3D.
But I'm also going to take the opposite side of this table, and I'm going to tell you Redbox is a fine way to go. $1, you pick it up on the way home with a 6-pack of beer. I'm not going to name beer names, but I prefer you don't pick them up at the store that you pick up the movie at because you need better beer than that.
Walk into Walgreens, get a 6-pack of Bud Light Platinum, walk out, grab the movie, go watch the fucking movie.
All right, next time I see you, I'm going to get my ass kicked from fighting you for that.
Yes.
But get yourself some beer, get yourself some popcorn. It's an enjoyable flick. We suggest you watch it. Definitely. But again, watch it in your own right. We both have stated that we're going to purchase it when it comes out, but we're kind of collectors, so
I can't not have a Batman movie. I got the entire Batman collection for Christmas from the wife, so.
Oh, which ones? Like what started with the Tim Burton or?
Yep. All of them. And they're still in the plastic. I haven't even opened them yet.
Are you sure they're still on the shelf?
Yep, because I know exactly. Yeah, I put them there all the time.
Yeah, I would not you. I'd get shot.
Yes.
Side note, don't break into Ryan's house. He'll shoot the fuck out of you.
That's very true. With that, we're going to go ahead and get ready and close up. We're going to put a whole bunch of links down in the descriptions. Ian and I both like to stream video games. If you've watched us before, you know this. We're dropping a lot of content constantly. This is the primary thing we like to do is get together, argue, talk some bullshit, drink some fucking booze, and be dumb because we're dumb. That's kind of how we do things around here. Do you want to plug anything else? Anything?
Well, okay, so I've got my Twitch streams that are going on. Fiend75002. You see the name right there. It's on everything: Instagram, Twitch, Vine, I don't use it, but feel free to follow me. You can, you can find me anywhere on that. I'm going to go ahead and do this. I didn't get permission. There's a little podcast that I also work on where we talk about craft beer and video games. That is the Super Barley Bros, Super Barley Brothers, however you want to call it, whichever way. Look them up. They have a YouTube channel as well. I've contributed some stuff to them. They have some of my videos on a playlist there. Check that out. Also, feel free to come back to the Late Night Enforcers YouTube channel because we've got Layers of Fear that's going on right now. Ryan tells me it's the best spooky game I've played so far as my reactions are concerned. I'm going to do a review of that game. I think I'm going to do just a flat-out fucking review of that game. I'm not going to say what I think about it right yet. I have also, here coming up in the next couple of days, being that this is April 7th, there's going to be some videos of me playing Gears of War, the Ultimate Edition, which is just the graphical redoing of the first Gears of War game, which, in my opinion, is a really fantastic fucking game. There's going to be some videos dropping of me playing that, and I have a blast with that. Other than that, I've got nothing else to plug other than the fact that I will here at the beginning of January, February, March, April, May. At the beginning of May, I am going to be streaming a lot more than I have been because at that point, it's going to be one of these things where it's like I don't have to share bandwidth with someone. So I'm going to be dumping a lot of my bandwidth out to the people. So I will be giving all sorts of stuff. And this also means that there will be long nights of me playing Fallout 4 with possibly nothing going on. I literally just crafting shit or stuff like that. But give me a follow on Twitch. I will entertain you in any way, shape. Man, I'm drunker than I thought I was. I've been talking too long.
The people will appreciate this. So as far as plugs are concerned, I got a couple things I got to throw out there. We are to hitmouth.com. A couple other things that I do. Yes, I stream the video games. We'll put the links down in the description. We try to roll up some Division content, some other stuff. We will be doing an Evolve stream and a Rage Fun thing that is coming. I promise you it will be entertaining. We might even
I've got some news
for the YouTubes.
Oh, hold on. I got some news for the people that tune in for that. Tune in for that. You follow me on Twitch.
Yeah.
Follow us on YouTube.
We hit all the follows and the subscribes because we will both probably stream it at the same time. So you can multi-Twitch it and get it from both of our perspectives because with that game, you're going to need multiple perspectives.
Yeah, that way you can tell us.
Rage-induced night. But the other thing that I do that I definitely want to make sure I hit, if you've paid attention to us before, I'm into the whole fitness aspects. Yes, I'm drinking. I probably won't be drinking again for 8 weeks after this weekend. But I also run and am working on creating a channel called Apex Fitness. We are on Facebook as facebook.com/fitnessapex. If fitness is something you're looking to get into, you want to get into like a healthy lifestyle, stuff like that, definitely hit us up. Custom plans from an ISSA master trainer dude I deployed with. He's definitely changed my life for the better in the terms of being healthy. But I'm working on content for that, so I'll drop that link down there as well. If you're looking to get some solid advice and solid tips on things you can do to make yourself better and more healthy, that's going to be the place to go. Highly recommended.
And he is generally a really cool dude. I've had conversations with that guy.
He's actually with us before. So
yeah, he's been part of he's part of the Late Night Enforcers gaming crew. So
yeah,
can't help but like.
He's done a whole bunch of the Killer Instinct vids. If you hear him talking as Smeagol or Elmo, and he's a crazy dude and he's fun, but he's.
I argue with him a lot, but
yeah, y'all are fun. So that's the only other thing that I do aside from this. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Let us know in the comments what you want us to talk about next time. Our next big one is going to be live. We need something to argue about. Let us know because we've already done a Rage Fest. We got to figure something out. So
now, granted, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen in the audience, did you read that comic book I gave you?
Yeah.
All right. Keep in mind there was a recent issue of Deathstroke where Red Hood and Deathstroke fought, and Deathstroke fucking won that shit. So let's not have that argument because we already had that. It's canonical, and it happened. Feel free to throw any grudge matches or anything down in the comments that you want to do. You know what? Actually, there'd be a nice debate. If we can't come up with anything else, I say we take a note from Screw Attack and we do a debate against Dante versus Bayonetta.
We could do that.
Yeah, because I need to finish Bayonetta 2 before Home
I haven't
Slice.
played any Bayonetta.
Oh, that's fine. That's perfect because I play both, which means I would take Bayonetta side.
Of course you would, because you're creepy.
Yes.
So, with that, drop a sub, turn on notifications, hit up the comments, drop that like button, do all the fun stuffs.
Drop that like button. Don't drop that like button. You smack the fucking hell out of that like button.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll catch you on the next one.
All right, later, y'all. I have the button. I need to press it.